Hello, guys. So I have another beautiful blessing for y'all today. I have my friend Danielle. She's a BCBA from Florida. She's gonna be joining us today. Okay. Oh, she's already on here. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's see. Awesome. There she is.
Hello.
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Danielle. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, wait, you're out in Florida, right?
Yeah, so actually, you know what? It is 12 o'clock right now, so now it's the afternoon.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was like, that's not
Afternoon.
morning for you. Okay, good
Yeah, I was like, wait a
afternoon.
second. Nope, it is 12 o'clock.
How
So
long
how
you
are you
been here?
today?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing great. I'm really excited for Friday.
Yes, same.
Right?
Very much.
Yeah. Uh, so wait, how long have you been out there in Florida though?
I've been here for a very long. I grew up here. Well, I'm originally from New York, but then I moved down here as a kid. I was 12 when I moved down here. So I guess I'm a Floridian, even though I still consider myself a New Yorker at heart.
Like
So
the New Yorker never leaves you. Like I live in
exactly.
Arizona now, but I grew up in Jersey, so like I'm still a Jersey kid at heart. Like I just
Exactly.
you,
It just never goes away. Like I
you
still
never
consider
go there.
myself a New Yorker, except I cannot do cold weather anymore. Like as if it belows like if it dips below 60, I'm done. Like I am freezing. So
I literally me dying. Oh no, no, no.
yeah.
It gets a little cold here in the winter. Cold. It gets like
Right.
60s in the winter. And I'm just like, okay, I need a jacket. I need two scarves. Like I can't do this.
Yeah, no, I'm over there with like jackets and I can't do it. Just I can't do the cold anymore. So, but yeah. So things are good though.
For sure. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so I was hoping you could kind of give us a little bit of background about like you. I usually like to structure this around ABA, if you don't mind, maybe a
Sure.
little bit about fitness or nutrition, whatever you prefer. But if you could tell us a little bit about you and your own experience with ABA and fitness and all that, that would be really awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a board certified behavior analyst, and I've been one since, oof, I'm going to age myself. Um, I got my BCABA in 2009 and then my BCBA in 2010. And so I have been since the last 11, 12 years been practicing mostly in the field of autism and other developmental disabilities. But then over the last year or so, I started taking my own health and wellness back control, and I lost a bunch of weight because over pretty much my entire life, thank you, pretty much my entire life, I just struggled with my weight. And so that's always been something that I just had a lot of difficulty with, like as a child and even as an adult. But over the last year, thanks to COVID, I guess, I just took control. I had a lot of time on my hands. So I was like, I'm going to do this for me. I want to get healthy. I finally want to be able to just be confident in my own skin and just be happy with how I look and just how I feel. So I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to ABA myself. Because I was like, I apply ABA to everyone else. Like, why don't I just apply what I know and just
Oh,
do it to
yeah.
myself? And I did. And so I lost a bunch of weight and I just created a ton of healthy habits, like working out and eating much healthier and nutrient dense food. And I became very passionate about it. And so here I am. And I was like, I want to help other people in similar situations that I am. And I want to implement ABA and help others reach their health and wellness goals. So,
That's amazing because honestly, that's very similar to kind of what happened to me.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I came from working with kiddos in the spectrum and stuff to 2020 hitting gave me a little more extra time and me realizing that I needed to take care of myself for sure. But I really want to ask you though, how can you tell us maybe one of the ways that you used ABA in your own like fitness journey?
yeah,
Cause I know
absolutely.
we have like a bunch of examples.
I know, right? Well, one of the biggest things that I did is like I created sustainable, healthy habits for myself. So I did a lot of like the pre-MAC principle. I used a lot of like positive reinforcement, a lot of like first then. It'd be like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, like what can I do to help me get to where I want to go? And I actually use some ACT on myself as well. And so one of the biggest things is like, I don't know if you can see behind me, like, I have my Peloton behind me, and I became like, I don't know if you can see it or not. There we go. I became very obsessed. No, I shouldn't say obsessed, but like I began to like really enjoy working out once I got my Peloton bike.
Let's call it
And so
passionate.
that
Let's
just
call it
became
passionate.
reinforcing for me. Exactly. Yeah. So it became very motivating, very reinforcing to me just to like work out and be able to use that positive reinforcement of like, okay, it actually was like, first I'm going to get my work done and then I'm going to go work out. So it became a reinforcer for me, which is really nice,
Right.
was awesome. Yeah. So that was definitely one of the ways that I use it for sure. And then a big motivator for me is like, I have 3 kids of my own. And so like, I really wanted to model healthy behaviors for them and be that person where like, hey, you can still eat what you want. You can still eat, you know, have fun and work out. And I wanted them to watch me become healthier and develop those healthy habits that hopefully as they get older, they're going to develop themselves too. So.
That's amazing. So I think it's probably safe to say that you definitely use Premax principle with your kiddos.
Yes.
So for anyone listening, I thought it would probably be really like educational and helpful if we broke down Grandma's Law. So would you be down to give us an example of how you use our Grandma's Law in your own life? I could also, I'm also going to give an example.
Yeah, absolutely.
No pressure.
So, I mean, well, for me, like personally, or like for my kids, or like, does it matter? Or
Yeah, whatever
either
you
way?
think is
Okay. So,
better.
like for me personally, as far as like the first then principle, a lot of times what I would do is like, I would do something along the lines of, all right, first I need to finish writing this assessment, right? And then once I write this assessment, then I can go like hang out on the couch and like watch Netflix or something like that. So like that's very much not like a health perspective, but that's kind of how I
Okay,
would use it. It's like
that's
first
what
I
my
gotta get
favorite.
this done, and then I can go do something that's more fun or more motivating for me to go that way. So
I
how
love
about
it.
you?
So the way that my girlfriend and I do it is because we're both in our master's program to become BCBAs.
Hmm,
And
very cool.
as you know, we all we do is study and read articles all day. So I'm in my office right now. She's in her office most of the time when we're studying. And what we do is we get like kisses or some kind of candy that we really enjoy.
Hmm.
And we tell ourselves, "Great, you read this chapter first, and then you can eat the kisses, or you can eat
There
you
you
can eat the
go.
Kit Kat, or whatever." And of course, we try to make sure that it's a small portion so that we're not just messing up our entire diet and everything like that. But that's been really reinforcing, and we both have 4.0, so I think
That's
it's working.
amazing. That's
I think it's
awesome.
working. Yeah, thank
Congratulations.
you.
That's so cool.
Yeah, Premax Grandma's Law is just amazing. I really, 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 really love it. Um, is there a way that you use ABA in dieting though, and how you like consume food and all that stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of what I do too, so I follow also like a macro flexible dieting plan to where I am able to track, I do a lot of data. So like I track everything that I eat currently so I know what I'm consuming. And then I do a lot of data analysis based on what that is. And so like I use a food journal, and so like I'm tracking everything that I'm eating, and I'm looking at that, and I'm assessing, and I'm looking the trends at the data to see, okay, is my calorie consumption going up? Is my weight going down? And so on and so forth. So I definitely do a lot of data analysis for sure and look at trends absolutely in terms of my nutrition personally.
So for your tracker, are you using like a virtual tracker? Or are you writing it down on paper?
Yeah, so I'm using right now, it's called My Macros Plus. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Oh, I've never heard about that.
It's
No.
a really awesome app. I love it. The clients that I currently coach, I have them use like I give them a choice of like My Fitness Pal. That's another good one. That's a free app. So My Macros Plus it's only $2.99, so it's not that expensive. But I like to just give them choices, but either app is great to track your food for sure.
Very awesome. Yeah, because I definitely that's something that I've struggled with. It's tracking my macros and everything, and I'm not now starting to track my macronutrients as well. So it's as you know with any behavior change, I want to make sure that it's sustainable and I can keep doing it while I'm in school, while I'm still working full time and doing all of this stuff. So I'll definitely check that one out because my girlfriend uses my fitness ball and she's like really awesome at it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, the more choices, the better. So that's
Well, yeah, and
awesome.
the thing with that too is like I was able to create that habit of putting in my food, and I shaped it up. So like when I first started, I only had myself put in one meal at a time for like a week or so. And then once I was consistently doing that, then I added another meal. And so I shaped up my behavior of tracking because in the beginning it It was hard. It was a lot of response effort for me personally in the beginning to do that, but then I was able to use shaping to, you know, to get to where I'm at right now. So
And you get to where you create the habit, and it's basically automatic. So that's
it
awesome.
is. And it's
Yeah.
what's really cool about it too is like this is not something that I expect to do forever because with the macro tracking and the flexible dieting, like I'm able to now eye it. So like if I'm out in a restaurant, I have a good idea of what a portion size is appropriate for me based on what I've been tracking with my macros. So it's not something that's going to be a forever thing. Like I will be able to like, you know, fade it out. And I have been starting to fade it out too, to where I'm not going to eat it anymore, which is awesome.
That's amazing. So I personally, when I was in my undergrad for psychology, I was working at restaurants because that's what you do. So I'm really good at portion control because I've just served so many people, and I worked in the kitchen, I worked in serving. So I definitely get where you're coming from on that. Like you just eyeball it. Because I used to like weigh, like when I used to work at the kitchen, I used to like weigh everything, and then it got to a point where like I would make it and then weigh it. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Cool. That's awesome. And my girlfriend and I, we meal prep that way.
Oh, that's so
And
cool.
yeah, so I used to like measure like all of the proteins. I used to measure all the vegetables and stuff. And now the more that I've been doing it, it's been a couple of years now. I'm like, okay, that's 8 ounces. And I'm usually
Yeah.
right. I'm like, wow, okay,
Yeah,
that's
because you
what's
just get
up.
to eyeball it and you get to learn over it becomes a habit, right? You just the more consistent you are with it, it just becomes part of your routine and natural for you to be able to see that. So that's awesome that you do that.
And I feel like that it's helped because I like to go out and eat at restaurants
Sure.
personally. So I think it helps because we can't measure the stuff that they give us at restaurants. So it's really good to just have that idea in your mind of how much food looks like, and how much nutrients you're really getting into your body when you're outside of your regular environment. Because like I
Exactly.
go to a restaurant now and I'm like, okay, so that looks like about this. This looks like about this. Because most restaurants at least won't give you a breakdown of the nutrition, and that's okay. You know, it can be overwhelming if you just want to relax.
Yes.
Um,
Well, and a
but I
good rule of
definitely,
thumb that I typically do, like anytime I'm at a restaurant, and I order a meal, I always just cut my meal in half and ask for a to-go box. And so that way I know that I don't overeat. And again, it's another habit that I developed is this like I automatically ask for a to-go box, put half of it in there. So I don't see it, it's not there. And that way I know, okay, I'm only eating half of the meal. And then I have leftovers for the next day too, which is like, so it's great. It's a bonus, which is awesome.
everyone wins. Yeah, I really have. Yeah, I definitely got to look into that. That's awesome because something that I'm personally working on is that intuitive eating as well. Because I was just eating till it hurt, and for like most of my life, like I was just eating. Like I would like binge eat, and like it was delicious, it was great, but then I wouldn't feel good, and I was like, wait a second, this is counterproductive. Like this defeats the whole purpose of me eating something that I enjoy.
Right.
So I've been definitely working on listening to my body and allowing my body to feel satiated rather than just feeling overly full. And it's been just I thought that I was going to lose so much weight, but I've been able to maintain a really really healthy weight, and
Mhm.
I've been able to keep my appetite and everything. So it's just been really really awesome.
That's
Um,
awesome. And that is not an easy skill to acquire in terms of like, you know, understanding your body cues and understanding when you're really full and when you're truly hungry. So that's great that you are at that point because it's not easy to do that. So that's awesome.
oh, thank you. So like I I just want to say that I'm very impressed by you because I'm really impressed with you because you have been a BCBA for so long. So you know ABI clearly. Like I can speak to
Yeah.
you clearly. You understand it. I love it. But one of the things that impresses me the most about a lot of BCBAs that I know is that they have like children. They have little humans running around their house that they take care of. I personally, I have a godson that we like take care of like once a week and stuff. You know, so tell me, how do you find that balance in being a mother of three and being a successful BCBA? How 'cause
Yeah,
I love that.
it's been tough. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say it's like rainbows and unicorns because it's definitely not. One of the things, one of my biggest values is my family, my kids, and so I want to make sure that when I am home, I'm present for them. And I tell a lot of people, like, especially like my RBTs and supervisees that I work with, or even like other analysts, is like, as soon as I walk through my door, I'm like, I take off the BCBA hat, or I try to, and I put on the mom hat as much as you can, right? But then things happen that's out of your control. And so you just have to have a really good support system. Like, my husband is amazing. And so he's been able to really help in terms of, like, you know, childcare and just, you know, being present with them if I have to be out and about or whatever. And so having that support system is really, really important. But then it's also like, with us in the field and whom we work with, I mean, it can be difficult at times, especially if you're working with a population with, you know, individuals that might have those heightened behaviors or whatnot. And it's kind of hard to, like, okay, so we're going to keep that out the door. And then you walk in and it's like, all right, we had a tough day today, but it's going to be okay. But then you come in, and I'm going to be very real with you. Like, it is, are you going to be BCBA in that moment? Or are you going to be mom when one of your kids acts up? Like, what are you going to do in that moment? And so sometimes it's like, especially being a BCBA, it could be like an internal battle of, all right, my kid's throwing a tantrum right now. I know what I should be doing as a BCBA, but I know what I want to do as a mom. And so it can be tough at times too, going through that as well. So there's definitely a balance factor.
Yeah, I can imagine how challenging there is. I don't think there's any books out there on how to be a mom and a BCB at the same time. So it's a brand new challenge. Like, you're just out there figuring it out. That definitely, like I said, I'm just very impressed. That's really amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, like kids. I said I started in the field working with kids, and I really appreciate that. I'm like, okay, I'm tired. Here's your child back at the end of the day. Like,
but you know what, too? Like, becoming a parent has 100% made me a better analyst, for sure. And so, like, but when I first became an analyst, I was not a mom. So, like, my oldest is 10, and then I have 7-year-old twins. And so, like, prior to being a mom, I would give, and I was a very green new behavior analyst because I was only like a year or two in before I had my son. But, like, giving recommendations to the families, my recommendations that I gave them prior to being a mom, I look back at it sometimes and I'm just like, what was I thinking? Because as a mom, I'm like, I can't believe I was expecting them to do these things. And so now I'm like, I never give recommendations to families if I can't personally do them myself. I'm like, I'm not going to tell you to do that because I can't do it as an analyst or a mom. So I'm not going to expect you to do it either. And so, like, my recommendations and just the way I work with families has completely changed since becoming a mom versus prior to when I was an analyst, but not a mom. So
that's really awesome. So, like, it really, like, truly just changed your perspective and allowed you to kind of adapt that response effort from your parents and the people that you work with, right? That's all. That's definitely helpful. That's definitely
it really
helpful.
is, yeah. Because, like, you know, expecting families to do these things sometimes when it's not realistic, when, like, they're super busy. Like, you know, some families work full time and then have, like, multiple children, and so it's hard. It's definitely not easy, for sure.
Exactly. That's amazing. I'm really excited for that time to come. I'm still scared and terrified, but we'll figure it out. We'll still figure it out. That's amazing. All right, cool. So I have one more question in here. So my question was on ABA in Florida. I know that everywhere that everywhere ABA is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So how your experience with ABA in Florida have been? So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is all I really know. Like, I haven't done ABA in other states, but Florida is one of the bigger states where ABA is. And so we do have, especially where I'm at, I'm in Tampa, and so there are a lot of ABA companies and a lot of behavior analysts in the area that I am, and a lot of RBTs, which is actually fantastic because it allows us to really serve, you know, a lot of the individuals that really need our services, which is great. As far as, like, insurances goes, like, most all insurance companies, like, they only, you know, pay for ABA if the person has autism, and that's really it. So that kind of is difficult for families if they have a child that, you know, needs ABA, but they don't have a diagnosis of autism, and they say like ADHD or ODD or something of the sort. It's really difficult for them to get services unless they're paying out of pocket for it. So that's hard. But there's a really amazing community here in Tampa in terms of, like, just ABA in general, and so it's nice. So it's really cool.
That's amazing. I know there's like a lot of amazing programs in Florida for ABA, so
There
that makes
is. I mean, we have USF, which is local. That's where I went. I mean, there's FSU, there's UF, there's WNF. FIT is, on the other side of the state. So we have a lot of really great ABA programs here. So we're very lucky.
that's awesome. Yeah, it's it does sound like Florida is very much like Arizona,
Does it?
which makes sense. But it does sound very much like you just described here. That's exactly.
I've never been to Arizona before, so that's awesome.
Except for the fact that you guys definitely have, I think from what I've gathered, you guys have a little more ABA and a little bit more of a longer history in ABA in Florida, and we have it
Yeah,
here.
we're definitely one of the first states with the so.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, here when it comes to the insurance though, and when it comes to the diagnosis and everything, it's very much the same. Yeah, same here. It's a beautiful community though, and it's really nice to collaborate with other people who have same goals, and it's just really nice.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's really cool too because there's more and more, like even like in the community that I am, like just the other day I discovered there is a local gym by me that is like applying ABA with individuals that are neurodiverse, and I'm like, that's amazing. I'm like, how did I not know this? And I'm like, I'm gonna call this person up and like try to figure what we can do together. But I'm like, so it's really cool that all these things are popping up, which is awesome. I mean, there's also like, we have Dr. Mallory Quinn. So she's like right down the street from me too. And so like we collaborate at times. So it's really awesome to have this like tight knit community for sure. So.
Sure. Okay, that's amazing. Yeah. Next time I'm in Florida, I'll definitely I'll let you know. We'll collaborate, do some stuff, do some ABA over there, have some fun. All right. You did answer all of my questions though. Is there anything else that you would like to add to our meeting? Do you think be anything cool that will be helpful for anyone watching?
Yeah, I want to say like I'm just really, really excited about the interest that surrounds the health, sports, and fitness field with ABA because I'm seeing more and more analysts wanting to like go into this realm, into this field, which I think is amazing because it's so needed. Like we can apply ABA to really literally anything. And so it's really cool to see that there are so many analysts that are wanting to like come into this field and just implement ABA and help others reach their health and wellness goals. So, I mean, if anyone is ever interested in learning how to break into this field, just, you can absolutely hit me up and just let me know, send me a DM or anything, and I'll definitely be more than happy to chat. So it's really cool. I'm excited to continue to venture in and like see where I can take everything. So I'm stoked about it.
So I'll be one of the people who are reaching out because
Yeah,
as I start getting my hours and stuff, and work through this process, I'll definitely be reaching out and asking all the questions.
Yeah, please. I mean, I love, one of my favorite things about being a behavior analyst is teaching and, just disseminating the science of ABA. So like I have my own coaching business as well, but then I also can, still work for an ABA company working with individuals with autism. And a big part of my job is like doing a lot of the trainings at that company. And so, being a supervisor and everything to the supervisees. And so I love disseminating. I love teaching. So like, if you ever have any questions or anyone does, just, send me a DM. I'd be more than happy to chat.
Yeah, for sure. So before I let you go, do you think you could kind of let us know what you have going on? I know that you've been working with Team ABA and all that stuff, but you think you kind of give us a little bit of what's going on, what's something, stuff that you're working on right now, stuff that you're planning on working on in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I am currently working with Team ABA and I'm doing some coaching with them. And then I also am doing, I have my own coaching business as well, us Shaping Progress Coaching. And so right now, what I'm doing is I have like a 12-week program that is really working with individuals on meeting their health and wellness goals using sustainable habit change and implementing ABA. And so like we focus a lot on like habit change and then values-driven behavior and creating like specific goals to get people to where they want to be. So I'm really excited about it. I've seen a lot of success so far with the clients that I've been working with, and I just am so further. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. So, it's exciting.
That's amazing. Okay, That sounds really fun. I'll definitely be on top of that. I'm constantly on you guys' website, so I'll definitely check that out. Thank you for having on, though. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was so nice to just hang out and talk with you for a bit. So absolutely. Thanks for inviting me to come on. This was great.
Sure. Hopefully, we can do this again. I can assure you, I'll have more questions.
Yeah, I'd love to come back again. So thanks for having me.
For sure. Thank you. Take care. Okay.
Yeah, you too. Have a good one. Bye.